All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. I love it. I love it. It is Monday. It's early, and we're almost at the end of the year. Yes. No seniors in here, right? No seniors, freshmen. Okay, so it's a little early for senioritis, but I understand. Okay, I understand. My name is Backpack Jeff. I am a speaker. I'm a poet. I'm a creative. I'm a business owner. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a lot of different things. And today I am going to be your volunteer from the Maryland Business Roundtable. Okay, so essentially what we do is we go out to different schools and we talk to different schools, talk to different students, just about some viable options for you after high school. I know you guys are sick of this. I know you guys are tired of it, but I want to offer it to you from a different perspective, okay? I want to offer it to you from a different perspective. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to just raise your hand if you know what you're going to do after high school. If you don't, it's okay. There's no pressure. You don't have to know what you're going to do. Tell me, what are you doing after high school? Dairy farmer? I love it. What are you doing after high school? Farmer? Who else had their hands up? If you know what you're going to do after high school. If you know what you're going to, only 2 people? That's okay. That's all right. Look, when I was in the 9th grade, I had no idea what it was that I wanted to do after high school. I thought I wanted to get into electrical engineering. And then I went to college. And then I realized that me and science, we don't have a great relationship. And so I changed my major to psychology because I want to know, why do people do the stuff that they do? Because sometimes it frustrates me. I'm like, why would you do that? Like when I'm driving and you see me going fast, why would you pull out in front of me and go slow? I want to know why people do that kind of stuff. Am I wrong for going fast, or are you wrong for pulling out in front of me and going slow? I want to figure it out. So I wanted to get into it. And then all of a sudden around 2017 or so, 2018, I learned about being a speaker. I'd never known or even thought that these guys who are speakers could do as well as they do. Let me ask you a question. If you were to go to a college, a university, a company, and you were to speak for 1 hour, just 1 hour, that's it, talk, 1 hour, boom, you're done. How much would you expect to get compensated for speaking for that 1 hour? Throw out a number. You can say it out loud. Somebody give me a number. Money. Yeah. How much would you expect to get paid? Who said 1,000?
Right here.
1,000. Love it. Anybody else?
5,000.
5,000? Okay. Anybody else? 200. Okay. Anybody else? $50? $10? Okay. Interesting. Anybody else? Any other numbers?
Probably.
Huh?
Probably.
Probably free? That's a thing too. These speakers, this guy, he looked at me and he said, I make $50,000 an hour to talk. And I say, you're lying to me. Nah, you're lying. I need to see, because if somebody tells you that they get paid $50,000 an hour, I need to see it. I need to see a check. I need to see a statement. I need to see something that says you make $50,000 an hour. Now, I don't make $50,000 an hour. I don't at all, okay? I'm not there yet, but let me see. Where is, she sent me something recently. But I'm getting close, right? So when he told me that, I said, well, of course I want to get into speaking. And so here's what I want you to think about. There are a couple of different ways that you can get to what your ultimate goal is. And the way that I look at life as just like solving a big giant math problem. Life is literally nothing but solving a big math problem. And the only thing that you all have to do is you got to solve for X. But in order to solve for X, you need a formula that can help you solve for X. And here's the thing, X doesn't look the same for everybody. Not everybody in here wants to drive a fancy car. Not everybody in here wants to live in a mansion. Not everybody in here wants to live in a condo. Not everybody in here wants a big giant family. Not everybody in here wants to be a millionaire. We don't all want the same things, and that's completely okay because there's multiple ways to solve for X. But there's a formula that you can do it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you all with your formula. How many of my people in here want to go to college? Where my college graduates at? Future college graduates of America? Yes, I love it. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write this down. This next thing that I'm about to tell you for my people who want to go to college. Don't write it on the white paper because you got to turn that in. Write it in your book. Write it on the notes in your phone. Write it somewhere where you are going to see this. I promise. Listen, as I stand before you today, I owe over $100,000 in student loans. Over $100,000 in student loan debt right here. I'm waiting for them to send me my email that says my student loan debt is canceled. But I don't think that I will get that fortunate. I'm waiting. $100,000 in student loan debt I have to pay back. I want you to write this down. It's SCHOLLY, Scholly. SCHOLLY, Scholly. That's the name of it. It's an app, and it shows you all of the scholarships that are available in the entire United States. Every single year, millions of dollars of scholarship money does not get claimed because no one applies for it. Based off of your grade point average, based off of your major, based off of where you go to school, based off of finances, all of those different things go into place. And if you got a 2.2 grade point average like I did, there's a scholarship for you. How many of you all in here left-handed? Any left-handed people in here? A couple of people. You know there's a scholarship for that? You know you can get money to go to school just because you're left-handed? Information will literally help you throughout your process. Any people in here going into the military? Military people. Okay, couple of military people. If you are going into the military, here's what I'm going to encourage you, okay? My brother, now here's the thing. My family scared me out of the military because they told me, if you go into the military, they're going to put you on the front line, you're going to get drafted by the war, you're going to be in the front line, and then you'll have to be in entry, and you're going to be the first one to get killed. And I was like, nope, no military for me. But then I learned that that's not what the military experience is like at all. Not for everybody. That's not what it's like at all. My younger brother, he went into the military reserve. He went into the military reserve right after high school. 3 years after high school, he went into the military reserve. Now, he had to commit to 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks out of his summer for the whole year. That was his commitment. Is that a difficult commitment to make? Doesn't sound like a very difficult commitment to make, correct? So, here's what the benefits that he got. Number one, they helped pay for his college degree. Basically, his college degree was paid off by the time he graduated. Every single month while he was in school, he was given a living stipend. This isn't the money that goes to the college. This is the money that goes directly to him to say, hey, we know you gotta live. We're gonna pay you X amount of dollars every single month so that you can live. After he graduated college at 24 years old, he bought his first house at 24 years old. 24 years old, bought his first house using what's called a VA loan. These are special loans that only military people get, and they have the best interest rates, they have the best success rate, approval rate, all of that. He bought that home, he lived in it for 2 years, he sold it, he made $10,000 off of it at 26 and a half, 27 years old. He bought his second home. At 27 years old, my younger brother bought his second home. Matter of fact, he has 3 older siblings. Myself, I'm 7 years older than him. My older brother is 8 years older than him. My older sister is 9 years older than him. He bought a house before all of us because he went into the military and because he got himself a mentor. The next thing, my people who want to go into trades. Anybody want to go into trades? Beauty, HVAC, electrical engineering. What are some of the other ones? Welding, yes, 100%. Here's what I'm going to encourage you. Don't just be an employee. Don't get satisfied with just being an employee, getting a check. You can be an employer. You can get contracts. You can learn how to open your business. You can learn how to start your business. You can learn how to get paid from the government. I learned how to get paid from the government. I'm contracted with the government. I don't work for the government. I'm contracted with the government. They pay my company, and then I pay myself. If something happens with the air conditioning in here, there usually isn't a person here at the school that can handle the HVAC system and know what to do with the HVAC system. They have to call an HVAC company that they're contracted with. And then the HVAC company comes in and then they service the HVAC system. And the way that they do that is they put it into the procurement office is what it's called, and then they call out for bids. And if you have a business, you can bid on those different government contracts. I know a guy right now who's done over $500 million in government contracts. He's under 40 years old. He's under 40 years old. He's done $500 million in government contracts. And he doesn't do any of the work. You guys can learn that later though. So here's what I want to tell you. Again, life is just like solving a problem. And here's the thing. There's multiple ways for you all to be successful. You can be a dancer, you can be a professional athlete, you can be a doctor, lawyer, architect, you can be a farmer, you can create things, you can be a game designer, you can do coding, you can do poetry, you can do speaking. There's a bunch of different ways for us to be successful, but there's only 2 ways for us to fail. Don't do anything and don't do enough. Don't do anything and don't do enough. And don't let somebody else convince you not to do anything. My family sometimes tries to convince me not to do anything. I'll give you an example. I love my family, but sometimes we have a love-hate relationship because my family, they'll tell you the worst possible thing that can happen in any situation. And they call it, I care about you. But I would tell them, I'd say, you know what, I've got to go into DC, I got a show tonight, I got to perform. They say, why are you going into DC? You know you're not going to find parking. I'm still going into DC, I have a show to do. I would tell them, anybody here like to hike? Nobody here likes to hike? Nobody likes nature? Love being out in nature. Going to see waterfalls and stuff like that? Love it. I would tell them I gotta go hike. I'm stressed out. I just need to unwind. I need to go. I need to meditate and just be one with the world. They say, be careful. You know there's bears out there. What? Okay, couple of things. Number 1, I'm not gonna be the only one out there. I'm smart enough to do that. Number 2, if I'm not gonna be the only one out there, I don't have to outrun the bear. I just gotta outrun the slowest person. And as long as I can do that, I will be completely fine. Regardless of what it is that I wanted to do, they'll tell you what could possibly go wrong. And I just don't like those type of people. Those are called pessimistic people. I don't like those type of people in my life. If you can't breathe life and you can't pour back into me, I don't really need you. And on my 28th birthday, I wanted 2 things. Number 1, I wanted all you can eat crabs. And then number 2, I wanted to go skydiving. Any people here desire to go skydiving? Where my daredevils at? Where my skydivers? Raise it high. Yep, raise it high so I can see you. I love it. On my 28th birthday, man, I wanted to jump out of this airplane, 15,000 feet in the air, and I wanted to live to talk about it. But could you imagine what my family would say if I told them I wanted to jump out of an airplane? What would they say? What do y'all think they would tell me if I wanted to jump out of an airplane? I'm gonna die. I'm 100% going to die. And here's the thing, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm not jumping out of the airplane by myself, okay? Because I don't trust myself. This is the reason I don't have a motorcycle. I like speed too much. I've seen myself on a jet ski. Now, if I get flung into the water, okay. But on a motorcycle, it's the reason I don't have one because I don't trust myself. Because I'm the person who, well, if I'm at 65, for sure I can do 75. For sure I can do 90. I mean, 90 doesn't feel that bad. 110 can't feel much different, right? 140 has got to be relevant. I'm that person. And so when I'm skydiving, if I am going to die, I don't want it to be my fault. I don't want it to be because I was enjoying the free fall so much that I forgot to pull the parachute in time. I don't want it to feel that way. I don't want it to be on me. If I am going to die doing this, I want it to be somebody else's fault. I need it to be because he didn't pull the parachute or she didn't pull the parachute, not because I didn't pull the parachute. So on my 28th birthday, I went and I got crabs, and I also jumped out of an airplane. Notice I'm not by myself. So, we made it safely. The best time of my life. I've never felt more alive in my life. I enjoyed this thing. I would do it again. I can't wait to do it again. I did a free fall for about 45 seconds. So without the parachute, you see that when we're like this, it's 45 seconds at like 120 miles per hour. When you pull the parachute out, it takes about 12 minutes to get to the ground because you're 15,000 feet in the air. The scariest part, believe it or not, isn't when you're out of the airplane. The scariest part is when you're sitting on the edge of the airplane and he pulls your head back like this and you gotta look out. And you know at this point you cannot quit because I was first to go out, so there's 4 other people in the airplane behind me waiting to go out as well. I knew at that moment I couldn't quit. So that was the scariest part. So a couple of things I want you to pay attention to, okay? Number one, in that, I want you to don't be afraid to take chances, all right? Don't be afraid to take chances. I want you to look at your high school transcripts, okay? Your transcripts are basically going to tell people that you need to get employment, to get into schools. They're gonna tell people a lot about yourself, okay? I never paid attention to my high school transcript. Here's how I know I never paid attention to my high school transcript because, number one, I finished high school with a 2.2 grade point average. That's all C's and a C plus in math because I was good at math. And I was like, if I just do a little bit of work in math, I can get a C plus in it. And then I got into college. No scholarships because my grade point average was terrible. And my undergraduate degree, I finished my undergraduate degree with a 2.2 grade point average. I was very consistent in my life. Everything that I did, just above average. Just above average. But then I met this girl and she changed my whole entire life. And I know this sounds like every movie that you've ever seen in your whole entire life, but it's exactly what happened. I met this girl and she was the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my whole entire 17-year life. I was like, oh my gosh, that is the woman that I'm going to marry. I love her already and I haven't even introduced myself. I looked at her and I said, hey, excuse me, do you believe in love at first sight? I said, watch this. See, you're my first sight and I love you. And I love you. She laughed. And then all of a sudden, we start dating. And she has this bright idea. She says, Jeff, why don't we share our grades with each other at the end of every semester so that we can hold each other accountable? I said, of course. I love a good accountability partner. Who wouldn't love that? The first semester of my undergraduate degree ends. What's my grade point average? 2.2, baby. Right on top. Football season is done. Here comes basketball season, and I'm practicing my follow through. But then it dawns on me that I have to go and show her these grades. And then it dawns on me that what if she doesn't want to talk to me because she don't think I'm smart? she's gonna break up with me, y'all. And I can't have that. Because who wants to be in a relationship with someone that they can't have a conversation with? No one wants to be in a relationship with someone that they can't have a conversation with. And so I start thinking to myself, I'm like, what am I going to say to her? I have to tell her something. And I get it. I know what I'm going to tell her. I'll just tell her I'll do better, because women always believe that. No, that's not. It's a joke. It's a joke. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Some of the ladies are like, for sure, we definitely do. No, it's a joke. I didn't say that. But I'm nervous immediately, right? So, but I do it. I nervously, I'm walking. I walk to her dorm. I knock on the door. She opens the door. And she is crying her eyes out. I mean, she is ugly crying. Any of y'all ever ugly cried in here before? She's, she's got snot coming from her nose and everything. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. That beautiful girl that I once knew is gone. All I see is a monster in front of me. And she looks at me, she says, Jeff, what did you get? Well, I'm not crying. She's crying. She must have lost her scholarship. Because if you lose your scholarship, you got to pay for that. Mommy and daddy's got to pay for that school now. What is she going to do? So I said, well, here's what I got. I'm practicing my follow through because I got a game on Saturday. She says, Jeff, this is terrible. And I go, what do you mean? I'm eligible. Basketball season starts on Saturday. I got a game at 3:30. Make sure you wear the jersey and bring the sign. She says, Jeff, this ain't gonna work. I said, well, you crying. What did you get? Maybe I don't want to talk to you because you're not smart enough. I grab her grades. Couldn't believe it. It was so unbelievable. I held it to the light just to make sure that that my eyes were good. I was like, she had a 3.9. Room full of students. Any of y'all ever cried because you had a 3.9? Don't worry, I'll wait. I could not believe the amount, the stress she was going through over a 3.9. I'm like, why are you crying? This is a 3.9. Let me give you one of these C's and at least you'll have something to cry about. She taught me my very first lesson in college that day. She taught me that my standards for myself were way too low and I needed to raise my standard. She had a standard for herself that nothing less than her absolute best would do, and she expected to get a 4.0, and anything less than that would not suffice. What I want you all to do is I want you to raise the standard that you have for yourself and your life and expect nothing but your absolute best. In order to give your absolute best, though, there's going to be a couple of things that you got to do. I want you all to remember this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. The best ability is availability. The best ability is availability. You can't be you if you don't show up. If you don't show up to class, you can't be you. If you don't show up to the game, we can't play you. If you don't show up in life, we can't play you. As you get older, you'll hear people say, you didn't show up for me when I needed you. Or maybe you say that now, you didn't show up for me when I needed you. The best ability is availability. So if you're absent here, if you got a problem with showing up in school, chances are you're gonna have a problem with showing up for work. Me, I was absent at school, I was absent at work, I was absent at practice, I was absent at the games. Very pedestrian, athletic career. Because I didn't have a standard for excellence for myself. Again, the best ability is availability. When I think about solving for your ex, one of the things that I think about is that there is a progression that you need to get to in order to solve for your problem. Meaning, you can't go and take Algebra 2 if you never passed Algebra 1 and pre-algebra. And here's something interesting about life. Life doesn't get any easier, you just get better. Regardless of the fact of whether you want to wait or not, some of you may want to get 18 before you turn 18, but you got to wait 18 years in order to get 18. And there's progression that you're going to have to go through. But if you don't learn what you need to learn here, it's going to be difficult for you to transition to the next phase of your life. So I want you to learn everything that you have to learn right now so that you don't have to learn those things later. I get people right now in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s, and they say, Backpack, I need your help. I got no idea what I'm doing right now. I got no idea what I'm doing right now. And the reason being is because they didn't explore life when they were in high school, okay? They didn't challenge themselves with courses. They didn't challenge themselves with classes. They didn't go to different seminars, different workshops, different speaking engagements. They didn't take notes when the speaker said, hey, take notes, write this down. Here's what I want you to do. In order for you to get the help that you need, you gotta be honest with yourself. I want you to go to page 8 in the workbook, please. Go to page 8 in the workbook, and I want you to be honest with yourself right now. I want you to be honest with yourself right now. Page 8 in the workbook. Page 8 in the workbook, and I want you to answer these questions. And I want you to answer them honestly. This is for you. You're not going to turn this into me. You're not going to turn this into me. This book is for you. I want you to be honest about what you need help with. I want you to be honest about what you need help with. And in order for you to be honest about what you need help with, you got to first see it. You got to see it. I knew immediately what it was that I needed help with. I knew immediately what it was that I needed help with. Number one, I'm not good at responding to emails. I'm not good at responding to emails. And the reason being is because it's just not something that I was ever good at. And so what I did was I hired a person in order to answer my emails for me. So because I knew not only what my strengths were, but what my weaknesses were as well, okay? We're not all 100% phenomenal and great at everything. We gotta make sure that we are aware of what our weaknesses and what our challenges are, okay? All right, after you all are finished that, I want to ask you all, how many of you all know what the graduation requirements are? How many credits you need? Huh? I think it's on here. How many credits do you need? 24? 24 credits? Is my math mathing right now? 4, 4, 4, 16, 17 and a half. That looks like 17 and a half. I think it's like 24 credits. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to find out what the graduation requirements are. Find out what the graduation requirements are. And the reason being is because you can't hit a goal that you don't have, and you can't hit a target that you can't see. You can't hit a target that you can't see, and you can't hit a goal that you don't have. So I want you to know what your goal is, okay? Here's what happens. As you challenge yourself and as you take better courses, what you'll do is you'll get an opportunity to get into college, to get better jobs. Anybody in here have a desire to make a lot of money? Anybody here have a desire to make a lot of money? Let me tell you this. I love it. We don't all have to have that desire, but here's what I want to encourage you, is that when you make a lot of money, you don't just have $1,000 problems anymore. You've got $100,000 problems. You've got $1 million problems. You've got $10 million problems. And if you haven't learned how to solve $100 problems or $20 problems, chances are you're not going to know how to solve $100,000 problems. I used to be the program manager at a youth shelter, and I had this young girl whose both of her parents died. Both of her parents died, but they left her $108,000 life insurance policy. They left her $108,000. When she turned 18, she came to me, she said, Mr. Jeff, I want my money. I said, I'll give you $2,000. She said, that's not gonna be enough, I wanna go shopping. I said, I'll give you $2,000 more. I give you $4,000 to go shopping, do whatever it is that you want from it. She went shopping, she spent the whole $4,000. She came back a week later. She said, Mr. Jeff, I want the rest of my money. I said, nah, that's not a good idea. She said, you can't keep it from me. I said, you're 100% right. I cannot keep it from you. And if you want it, we will write you a cashier's check for $104,000. She said, I want my money. I said, fine. We wrote her a check for $104,000. We discharged her from the youth shelter. In 6 months, she was broke. In 6 months, she was broke with nothing to show for it. No house, no car, no job, no investment, nothing. Here's the thing. Leaving money to our families with no information or no knowledge of what to do with it is just as irresponsible as leaving them no money at all. So if you want to be able to accumulate money and finances, I'm going to encourage you to learn about money, learn about finances, okay? I want you to write this down. Everyone write this down. Everyone write this down. There is a website and an app, if you have an iPhone, called Financial Football. Financialfootball.com. Financialfootball.com. This is a game that you can play, and this is information for you to learn the basics of financial literacy, all the way from personal to business for people who are 11 to 14, 14 to 18, and 18 plus. I need you all to learn about money. I need y'all to learn about money, okay? So, you guys, you have more options. You have more options the more you challenge yourself, all right? So, something that I want you to do, I want you to, also you can download this Way to Be app, and then also, I need you to download SMART Goals, okay? I need you to set SMART Goals. Set SMART Goals, meaning goals that you know exactly where it is that you're going, all right? Who in here has a goal for their life? I want to help somebody out real quick. You got a goal, what's your goal? To play professional football. Okay. What position do you play? Linebacker. Okay. You got a calculator? Pull your calculator out. Let me ask you a question first. Hold on. Listen up. Listen up. Do you know how long it takes to master a skill? Put a number on it. Okay. Ask Siri, how long does it take to master a skill?
How long does it take to master a skill?
What did it say? Yeah, it's a little bad service in here.
Gotta look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Yeah. I want you to look up how long does it take to master a skill? Everybody think about this. How long does it take to master a skill? Somebody else look it up for me? Who else has a phone out? How long does it take to master a skill? No, there's a time limit for sure. Nah, there's a time limit. Okay, I'll give you the answer because we got bad service. The answer is 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. And I think that you would agree with me when I say that people in the NFL have mastered the skill. That's why they're the very few that actually make it to the NFL, right? Okay, let's do some math. How old are you now? 15? Okay, how many hours a week do you practice? More than 10? 5 days a week, 2 hours, it's 10 hours. Okay, so let's do 10. Do 10. Let's go and do some math here. 10. How many weeks are there in the year? 52. Do 10 times 52. 520. Okay. You can be a professional athlete. You can be a professional NFL player at the age of 21, correct? 3 years after your junior year. After your junior year. So multiply that number times 6 because you got 6 more years left until you turn 21. Okay. What do you got? 3,120. Okay. You've been playing football for how long?
6 years.
For 6 years. Okay. Do that times 2. Let's double it. Because you've been in 6 more years and you've been playing for 6 years.
The times 3,000.
Yep, times 2.
6,000.
6,000 what?
6,000.
6,240. At 21 years old, you will have put in 6,240 hours. Did you master the skill? You didn't. I'm going to tell you, right now you're not doing enough. You're not even close, bro. I'm not saying that it's impossible because I believe it's possible. I'm telling you that you're not doing enough. If it's not football, you don't have time for it. You got to dedicate your life to it. It becomes your life. It consumes you and everything around you. There's no more friends. There's no more video games. There's no girlfriend. There is 100% dedication to football, and that is it. If you're not willing to sacrifice and do that, you're not going to make it. You got to get them hours in. Here's what I would do. I would reverse engineer it. I would say at 21 years old, I need 10,000 hours. How many more hours do you need in order to master that skill? You said you've been playing for 6. So do, you said, what's 10 times 52 again? Do 10 times 52. How much? 520. Multiply that times 6. 3,400. 3,120. Take 10,000 minus 3,120. 6,000. Okay. Divide that by 6. This is going to give you your yearly breakdown.
1,150.
Divide that by 52. This is going to give you your weekly breakdown. 22. You need to practice 22 hours a week. Divide that by 7. There's 7 days in a week. 1.54. You need to practice 2 hours, 7 days a week, every single day until you turn 21 years old. Every day. If you can't commit to that, you're not going to make it. Not because of.
That's all things being equal.
That's all. That's all things being equal for sure. But in order to do that, that's what it's going to require to master that skill. And here's the thing: it's not just the physical; it's also eating. It's also studying too, because you don't become a professional when you become a professional, right? You can't be a professional working amateur hours. Professionals became professionals long before they became professionals because they already had a professional work ethic. And here's the thing: not only do you have to get it on the field, you got to get it in the school too. Because there's thousands of guys out there that can do exactly what you can do, but have grades or may not have to work. So put in the hours. It's literally football and school. School and football. You're a student athlete first. It's school and then it's football. After you're done your work, what are you doing? Football. After you're done football, guess what you're doing next? Back to school. After that, it's this. After that, it's consistent, and you got to work on that. Okay. So in order to master your skill, regardless of what it is that you want to do, put in your 10,000 hours. And even sometimes when you get to your 10,000, you'll realize that isn't even enough. You'll realize that you need 15,000 or you need 20,000. So I want you to keep going, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a couple seconds, fill out the white surveys that you have, please. Fill out the white surveys that you have, please. Fill out those white surveys. You're going to turn those in. You don't have to put your name on them.